I used the intraday volatility and the framework to kind of like teach you today a little bit more about bias, how to change gears with your bias, how to also manage your bias. Okay, so to tape read, quote unquote, paper trade, or even demo, using the draw on liquidity, but the model itself didn't materialize. Okay, so because I'm the author of these concepts, I have a lot of tools at my disposal, and I have a little bit better understanding of price delivery than the average student of mine. So if I go in and I show you something in this lecture today, the main takeaways before I get into it is this: what did I do and how do I go about abandoning a specific bias? How do I change gears if it is applicable? Sometimes it's not applicable to reverse. It just means move to the sidelines and just say, I'm not going to do anything. And what are the characteristics that would lead to a bias that is changed? And how do you use that logic? So there's a degree of precision that is given to you when you understand the things I'm teaching you. It goes beyond simply imbalance, rebalance. While that is important, there are times when that is a factor, but what I'm teaching you is, where's the market likely to go to? Okay, I'm not trying to teach you entry patterns with a importance that getting in a specific price level is the most important factor. I'm teaching you how to determine where the market's likely to go to next. Where's that draw on liquidity? Now, there's a lot of different ways that is calculated on an institutional level, okay, and how it's determined. It's not buy and selling pressure, okay, but it is algorithmic. So the easiest way for me to cut through all of the very complicated things that could very easily bog you down, and you may feel like the things I'm teaching are complicated. And I guess when you remove the idea of putting an indicator that says you're overbought, oversold, or a crossing over of two lines that gives you a buy or sell, it's not, in my opinion, wisdom to exchange a decision, especially if you ever decide to do this with real money. It's not wise for you to determine your bet or your gamble or your investment on what an indicator is saying versus reading price action and getting the logic behind what it's doing. Okay, and that's narrative. What is narrative? Narrative is the understanding of what price should do, why, and what things will it encounter to prove that the narrative that you are assuming is in place is in fact underway. Now, that's a mouthful. I'm sure most of you probably didn't get much out of that, but I'm going to break it down for you. But the main thing I want you to understand about this is I'm not trading the model that I'm teaching on YouTube. And you're probably going to say, well, why don't you just trade the model, Michael? Why don't you just teach us how to use the model? I am. When the model speaks, I'm going to show you. But I'm also teaching you how you still learn to read price when the model isn't giving you a setup. Because every single market isn't going to give you that model's entry, setup, and framework every single day, every single session. And because I'm the author of these concepts, I don't have a limitation to just that one. So is it beneficial for you to have me say nothing when the model says nothing? Or is it beneficial for me to teach you how to read price action, how to get in sync and learn how to change gears when the market shows you it's time to change gears? I think that's a little bit better expectation on the part of a student with that of a mentor that has the experience I'm trying to share with you. So there's two camps that's going to be looking at this video, and they're going to say, he's not really a good teacher because he's not focusing on the model. When I'm telling you the model didn't do anything today in this index. So what did I lean on? My experience, my ability, and the concepts that are already taught in this YouTube channel. So one of the Twitter followers mentioned today that can they use timeframes outside of the 1 through 5 minute chart, but use the same logic? Yes, that's all I'm trying to do. I'm trying to teach you a mindset that on the lowest time frame, it gives you a lot of experience, a lot of setups, a lot of things to practice. But But don't limit yourself to that, because there's so many other ways to trade using what I'm teaching you, and you can scale it to whatever time frame and whatever chart you want to use it on. Okay, but you still have to understand what price is likely to do and where is it drawing to. Okay, the things I'm teaching you, I'm pushing a button. It's a really real instance of happening, not something I took a trade and you never see that happening. Okay, I'm showing you example after example after example of the things I'm teaching you, and I'm using the logic. I'm not creating some falsehood. I'm not scamming you. I'm not frauding you. I'm not doing anything except for teaching you what works, what makes these markets book. And they do it every single week. The same kind of stuff all the time. I could literally go on and on for about 4 more hours just in this chart, but I promised myself I wouldn't make these videos very long. And I know some of you really want those long ones back. Can't promise, but I'm certainly going to do it as much as I can. And I'm certainly, obviously, well beyond that limitation here. But in this insightful, hopefully you're encouraged by me actually showing it working and not just talking about something theoretically. And again, be safe, and I'll touch base with you again.